Good afternoon, everybody. Please do raise your hand or write in the chat box if you cannot hear me. We'll start presenting shortly, probably in the next 2 minutes. And then please feel free to also write your questions in the chat box as we go. I have somebody raising their hand. You just let me know and I'll unmute. Good afternoon once again. Thank you so much for joining. Please note that we will be recording this session for the use of those who could not join us. However, we're going to make this brief and leave more time for any people with questions as well. So my name is Maureen Manjura from Feligio Consultants, and we are here to speak a bit about studying in Europe. We are not going to touch like all the countries in Europe, but specifically the ones that we get most inquiries from. But feel free to ask about other countries, and if we have information, we'll let you know. And if it's not within our portfolio, we will also let you know. So basically, admissions for studying in Europe that are currently open for your information for September, October, and August intake, depending on country, as the countries each have different intakes. And some have one intake, some have two intakes per year, but usually a maximum of two intakes per year is the general in Europe. And so we'll start with probably speaking about the intakes, the tuition fee ranges, accommodation and living expenses, the work and study, as well as postgraduate permits. So basically, we are going to talk mostly on Italy, Poland, Hungary, and Estonia, and Finland, because they have the variables that are there. But you find that probably Finland and Germany might share some similarities, and you find that Poland might share some similarities with countries like Sweden, etc. So in Italy, the intakes usually is August. If you're looking at the public universities, you may find other intakes in the private universities, but it is always preferable to study in the public universities in Italy, also because they are quite affordable. As you can see, the tuition fee ranges from 170 US dollars to 2,500 US dollars. And we will explain this on the scholarships and discounts, why the tuition fee can be, or how you can avail the tuition fee, which is as low as $170 in Italy. Public universities. And the accommodation and living expenses for Italy ranges from 300 US dollars to 700 US dollars per month. This includes your accommodation and your food, and probably transport. Transport is pretty cheap, as you can get a student travel card, which is valid for 1 year for about 50 euros to 80 euros for 1 year. So depending on the city that you are in, those are the ranges. So you find that it is quite affordable to be living in Italy. There is also allowance to work and study while studying in Italy. You can work up to 20 hours a week during studies and full-time during breaks. And by breaks, we mean when you are not in full-time classes, or during summer holidays, Christmas holidays, Easter holidays, etc. And Italy allows a postgraduate work permit for its students who are studying the programs in Italy. Usually from masters, you can apply for a 6 months to 1 year post-study work permit. But if you're at bachelor's, you have to secure either a job or a contract or a graduate trainee position in the country at a recognized company, so that you get an extension. That way you shift your student visa to a work visa. However, at masters, you can apply without a contract or a job for 6 months to 1 year to look for one, and then you will convert your visa from temporary residence permit to a work visa. And then in Poland, we have March and October intake. All right. In Italy, applications usually start in December of the previous year. For example, in 2023, the applications for 2023 started in December, end of November, December, and they close in March each year. This is mainly for public universities. And in Poland, we have March and October intake. Applications start closing in January and August respectively for these intakes. and they're currently open. January for March intake, they have closed, but for October intake, they will close around August. And the tuition fees ranges in Poland are from around $2,800 to $11,000, medicine being the most expensive one, which ranges between 9,000 and 11,000 if you want to study medicine in Poland. And most of the other courses, that is business courses, engineering courses, will range from 2,800 to 4,500 US dollars per year. And then we also have the accommodation and living expenses. I'm sorry about the background noise. Please forgive me for that. All right, I will proceed. The accommodation and living expenses will range from 350 to 800 euros per month, US dollars per month. And this also depends in cities, whereby hostels, cities or universities that have hostel accommodation might prove to be a bit cheaper than $350 overall, because they can have accommodation ranging from $150 to $200. And you are allowed again to work 20 hours a week during studies and full-time during breaks. And after your studies in Poland, whether it's bachelor's or master's, you can apply for a temporary residence permit of up to 9 months to look for a job or to gain experience or to start a business, etc. Hungary and Estonia, there is February and September intake. Application starts closing in December for February intake and in July for September intake. The tuition fee ranges from 3,500 to 7,000 US dollars. So usually the medicine degrees are on the higher side when it comes to the tuition fee. However, the living expenses are around $300 to $750 per month. And again, you're allowed to work 20 hours a week during studies and full-time during breaks. And again, it offers up to 9 months TRP, temporary residence permit, or post-work visa to allow you to look for a job, secure a job, or to start a business. And in Finland, we have the August intake, and applications start closing I'm sorry, that shouldn't be September. Applications start closing in February for Finland. So most of the applications are already closing for their August intake. They close pretty early. And their tuition fees range from $900 to $11,000. And the accommodation and living expense is about 500 US dollars to 1,200 per month. And you're allowed again to work 20 hours a week during studies and full-time during breaks. So you also can apply for a postgraduate permit for up to 2 years, depending on the number of years you've studied. So for a 4-year degree, you'll be allowed 1 year. For a 5-year degree plus, or if you have stayed in Finland for 5 years plus during your studies, you will be able to apply for up to 2 years post-work permit. So basically, these are the intakes and costs on some of the countries in Europe. Let us know in the chat box if you have questions regarding any other countries or regarding what I have mentioned here that you might have missed or misunderstood. We'll move on to the general admission requirements. Basically, we have just divided them into bachelor's, master's, as well as medicine and dentistry, because it happens to be the one that has usually special requirements that differ from all other requirements. So for bachelor's, you need, other than the other, all right, I will just go back a bit and see. For the tuition and study fees, is that amount per year? Yes, the amounts that we showed on the intakes and costs are for per year. Thank you, Dolly, for the question. These are per year. The tuition fees that are shown there are for per year. If there are no other questions, I'll answer as we go. As the questions appear, I'll be answering them. General admission requirements. So I was saying for Italy, Poland, Hungary, and Finland, some have age restrictions. It's not all universities, but some universities, for example, in Poland have age restrictions when it comes to bachelors. They might want 30 years and below, and some will allow up to 35, up to 40, etc. But usually, Poland is the one which is popular for having age restrictions when it comes to the bachelor degree. And in Italy, Poland, Hungary, and Estonia and Finland, the requirements are pretty much the same. You need A-level and your passport. You have passport size photos, birth certificate, etc. The general requirements that every person usually has. And in Italy, it is very difficult to go and study after O-level at bachelor's degree because they do not promote much of foundation degrees. Their foundation degrees are, however, for people who did not do too well at their A-level studies. They will offer foundation degrees, but they're much more expensive than just getting straight into a degree. So, for example, universities charge from 4,000 US dollars to 6,000 US dollars for a foundation year for you to supplement if you did not do well in your A levels. And for Poland, you could go for bachelor's using a diploma or a diploma certificate. So, for example, after your O levels, you did a 6 months or a 1 year or a 3 year diploma, you can get straight into bachelor's besides the A level requirement. Please take note and let us know when applying for the age requirement for Poland so that we check with the universities. For Hungary and Estonia, you will also need A-level. Hungary allows foundation year. They do have foundation year, which is again a bit pretty expensive because they're considering you as a high school student in the country. So again, you can do foundation year in Hungary. However, it would be better for you to go through A-level. And then in Finland, you again need A-levels. It is almost next to impossible to get in through your O-levels alone through a foundation degree. There are very few of those, and they are usually meant for supplementing if you did not do too well in your A-levels. And you will I'll answer a question that comes. Is it possible to have access to these slides? I just ended the meeting, so I've missed out on a lot. Yes, thank you, Terry, for that. We will share a recording for this presentation so that you can go through. Otherwise, you can drop your email and remove sending your email to everyone. Just send to the admin FJ or Feligio Consultants, and we will send it also to your email. So for Finland, it is almost next impossible to study bachelor's without A levels. And for masters, it is pretty simple because the requirement is bachelor's degree in all countries. You need to have a bachelor's degree to study a master's, or you need to have another master's degree to study another master's if you like. Otherwise, they require a bachelor's degree as a preliminary requirement, and you will need either your A-level and O-level or your A-level and diploma, whatever you used to be able to get entrance into the bachelor's level degree. You will need to also provide that. And some master's degree will require motivational letters, others will require recommendation letters. Work experience is also useful. And we usually request that if you're sending your CV, let it also be in Europass format. That's the most preferred format. Dolly is taking me back to say, bachelor's, is there a bridging course to qualify for a bachelor's degree? Bridging course, that's the foundation year we were talking about, but it's not offered in all countries. Some countries prefer that you have your A levels, and if you did fail in your A levels, then they will offer a foundation year. But some countries require for you, for example, Italy and Finland are pretty strict. They require you to have A level. It's better to have failed A levels where they'll offer a foundation year. Otherwise, you have to sit for your A-levels. In Poland, Hungary, and Estonia, they're pretty flexible. You can get in through a diploma, you can get in through the foundation course, etc., from all levels. So the bridging course, I hope I've answered your question. If you're asking if you take a bridging course to qualify for bachelor's degree, is this after a diploma or after a bachelor's degree? Is this after O levels or after a diploma degree? Let me know. And then Dakarai Mashaba, you're saying, are there specific points one should have and is mature entry available? Yes, and most of the countries that I did not put age restrictions, then you can do mature entry. It is available. However, you do require some of the basic education, which is all an A level or O level and a diploma or whatever you were using to be a working person, because mature entry usually they focus more on your CV. So meaning maybe you have 5 years experience in a certain field and you want to study in that field. So your CV has to be strong, but they need to know how you ended up landing such a job. Is it a diploma certificate and etc. And then Jolly, yes, after O level, you can get foundation year in Poland. It is much more expensive, or in Finland. Or in Hungary and Estonia. Finland and Italy are pretty strict. We usually require A level. It's very difficult for us to settle unless you're going for the private universities, yes, but they're now much more on the higher side when it comes to cost. For medicine and dentistry, for those who are interested in medicine, Italy has an entrance exam. Hungary and Estonia have an entrance exam. Finland has an entrance exam, and it's they're very, very. Currently, there are no universities that are working with in Finland that offer it in the English language. So it's an entrance exam, plus you also have to have a Finnish language certificate for you to study medicine in Finland. And in Hungary, you sit for an entrance exam. In Estonia, currently, we do not have medicine. In Poland, there is no entrance test, but they may require you to sit for an interview, and your results have to be good. The required subjects are physics, mathematics, chemistry, and biology. And same thing with IMAT entrance exam of September. IMAT entrance exam for Italy, which is set for September of each year in South Africa. I'll answer the few questions that are coming right there. What is the cost of studying a master's degree like MBA? In which country, Vincent? Please be more specific in which country you are asking for. For medicine, can one use a bachelor's in biomedicine as entry? Yes, you can use your bachelor's in biomedicine as entry, but however, in Italy, it doesn't matter if you have a bachelor's degree already, you will still need to sit for the entrance exam. Same with Hungary, you still need to sit for the entrance exam. Is there any need of learning the language of Italy? No, there is no need for learning the language in Italy. We can apply for you for English courses. So you can choose to just stick to those English courses. If you want to start a course that is conducted in Italian, then you will need a language certificate. But otherwise, there are English taught courses or programs in Italy. I will move on to scholarships and discounts briefly. Our meeting is supposed to end at 1, but please keep the questions coming, and I will also text our number on in the chat box, and you can always continue the conversation. For scholarships and medicine is 6 years. In any of the countries, medicine takes 6 years. Scholarships and discounts. For Italy, there is low tuition fees, which is based on income. So, for example, our country, Zimbabwe, falls under the lesser income. So you will find out that when you do your income declaration, which is usually a declaration of your assets and so forth, it is free to do that. to do the income declaration, they will charge you fees according to your income based. So you find that Zimbabwe falls between 170 US dollars to about maximum of 700 US dollars per year for tuition fees, depending on the city or the university. And then they also offer regional accommodation and living allowance scholarships, which are offered on arriving in Italy. When you have applied for your study permit and you have opened a bank account, they will give out the regional accommodation and living allowance scholarship. It may be in the form of accommodation plus living allowance, or it will be in the form of cash deposited in your bank account after you present your accommodation contract to them. So that is basically what Italy has to offer. So if you're considering studying in Italy, it might as well be good as free if you do your things on time, as well as arrive there in time to submit all your documents. And then, so for English courses, it has software engineering or actuarial science in Italy. Actuarial science, unfortunately, we do not have. Software engineering, we have it probably computer science related or computer engineering. That might be the closest we have. We don't have specifically software engineering, but if you're looking at masters, yes, we do have software engineering. Let me know if I have jumped your question. If bachelor's in biomedicine with some years be credited, if so, how many? In Poland, yes, you may be credited some years, I think about 2 years, and you study 4 years, but in Italy, you still study the 6 years. And then Poland, Estonia, Finland, and Hungary, they offer early bag discounts, academic excellence scholarships. That's what is available, or rather, that is what we have in our portfolio for the other countries except for Italy. Otherwise, this is most of it. We try to make this as short as possible. Please feel free to let the questions come in. And if you would like to ask your question, if you'd like for me to unmute you so that you ask your question, we have reserved this other 5 minutes for us to answer any questions, or somewhere where you would like me to repeat. I'll just be going slide by slide for those who came in late to just see some of the slides. And if there's questions on those, they can always peg them in. I'm also putting our number on the chat box. That's our official WhatsApp number, so that you can be able to contact us if you have further questions. We can call you back, or you can just send a message. So if we have no more questions, thank you so much for joining us today. And do let us know, and please feel free to contact or share contact details. We will share the presentation with you. If you require it, you can always just text our number, and we will definitely send the presentation to you. Thank you, Dolly, for the compliment. Thank you, Keisha. Hi, Vanessa, for your questions. Our services fee ranges from $250 to $800 for either bachelor's, master's, or PhD, or medicine. So it depends on the country that you are looking at. You just let us know the specific country that you're looking at and the specific master's degree that you would like, and we can present on that. Or you can just drop your number and we will also call you to explain our charge for our services. But it ranges from 250 US dollars to 800 US dollars. We have, it depends again on which country. In Poland, we do not represent all universities. In fact, in any of these countries, we do not represent all the universities. We have specific universities, but there are quite a number in our portfolio. So usually we've seen that those are usually the ones also of choice. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I think we will end the meeting here. Yes, you have to have travel, medical insurance or health insurance. This is not on the application stage. This is on the visa stage when you're about to go. Yes, we do help in getting the medical insurance, but you can use your preferred supplier.